Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Fractional Future of Wealth Management workshop presented by Milemarker. We are so glad that you decided to join us today. A couple of quick housekeeping things that I wanted to update you on before we dive into the webinar. First and foremost, love questions, love participation. So if you have any questions throughout the workshop today, please feel free to send them in the chat. We have Q&A disabled because we'll just have it run through the chat widget in Zoom. If you have any Q&A, please feel free to send that through and we will address those at the end if we have time. Second of all, we had a late scheduling thing. So for some of you who may have come into this, you might have seen that we were going to be doing this with Diana Cabrisis, who's a good friend. She had a last minute thing come up before this. So we are going to have her on again in a rescheduled workshop here next month in July. So stay tuned for that, along with a series of other pieces of content. So today I'm going to be presenting on my take of the fractional future of wealth management. I'm very excited to share this with you as large trends that we're seeing in the industry and what this can mean for wealth management businesses going forward in 2023 and beyond. So who am I? If you don't know who I am, my name is Kyle Van Pelt. I am the CEO and co-founder of Milemarker. We are a business that helps wealth management firms and those in the wealth management industry get their technology and their data and their integrations right. I'm so excited to be presenting for you today, and I'm excited to get to know each and every one of you better. Today, we're going to cover a couple of things and a couple of topics. Why I believe and why we at Milemarker believe fractional is the future of this industry as people grow, and why we are seeing that, the trends that we're seeing and the way that you should be thinking about it. The opportunities in your business to apply this concept and help your business grow in a more meaningful way. What Milemarker's role is in this fractional future and where we play a role, and this being the first of a series of content as we go. And then lastly, just next up and what you should stay tuned for in our fractional webinar series. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive in and get kicking off with why we believe fractional is the future. So the big concept here, and we'll dive into this a little bit, is every wealth management firm that we talk to, that we interact with, or that we spend time with needs expertise. And they are experts in certain things. They're clearly, and they would tell you, are not experts in other things, but they still need the expertise in those areas that they are not experts. So that was a little bit of a word salad, but what I'm saying is in things like technology, compliance, asset management, marketing, legal, accounting, bookkeeping, the list goes on and on. Your business needs these capabilities to perform in a meaningful and powerful way. Yet you can't do all of them. So how do we solve that? We believe that fractional is the future. And so you're already likely implementing this concept of fractional, just not with experts. And this is where we see things going. So when we talk to a lot of firms, what we hear is, oh yeah, so we have so-and-so who wears a lot of different hats in our business. They might welcome customers into the office when we have them coming in for a meeting, but if we don't have any clients coming in, they'll likely be onboarding new accounts in Orion, or they may be performing some Excel work for us, or they may be doing a couple of these different things. And that's fine, and I understand that concept, but is that really the expertise that you should have to help your business grow? We have a lot of people wearing different hats, but maybe not wearing them very well. There's also a lot of firms we talk to who might be using some experts and leveraging this in their business with maybe some outsourced compliance officers or outsourced legal. Maybe you've even gone a step or two further than that. We just believe that it's time to expand that, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go forward here. So what's changed And why is this something that we see happening now as opposed to before, or why we think it's going to be becoming more and more of a trend for advisors and wealth management firms? Number one, and probably the biggest thing, is there was COVID-induced workforce changes. People are probably tired of hearing about how COVID changed the world. We all lived through that. We all experienced it. But the reality is the Great Resignation was mostly an overblown concept of people just fully leaving the workforce in all of these ways. But what we did see is many people left their full-time jobs to become free agents or fractional experts. And it actually makes me think of a book that was published way back in 2001, so 22 years ago, by Daniel Pink. He wrote a book called The Free Agent Nation. And the concept of that book was that many people would go independent, not unlike a lot of advisors that we all speak with and spend time with, or like a lot of advisors that are on this webinar today, is that they wanted to go fully independent, take their skills, their capabilities, and be able to apply those to lots of different businesses so that they could be in control of their destiny. So Daniel Pink wrote about this concept all the way back in 2001. And for the majority of the past 20 years, I would say that that trend or that idea trickled along a little bit, dripped along a little bit, but never really caught on the way that he laid out in the book. But then all of a sudden COVID happens. I think it makes everybody kind of reevaluate what they want work to look like. They're forced to go home and work from home. Now they have this remote flexibility, and a lot of people, a large majority of the people who were in that Great Resignation wave went out to be free agents or fractional experts that people on this presentation and webinar can now take advantage of. There are people who I would classify as world-class talent who it would have been very difficult for you to hire in a full-time capacity before, that you can now bring into your firm and help get that level of expertise when you get to hire them as a free agent. So that's a huge trend that changed why this is now something that you'll start to see more and more. I think the desire by people has been here to leverage expertise for a very long time, but the model of being full-time is changing greatly. Advisors now have to do more with the same. So another trend that hasn't played out the way people said it would was fee compression, in the sense that all of the pundits believed that basis points were going to come down. People were going to get paid less because of robo-advisors, because of a lot of different things that were going on. But it turns out that's not actually what happened. What ended up happening is the fees themselves stayed the same, but you are being asked to perform way more for that same amount of fees. More services are expected. And if you don't perform those, are you still going to be competitive? Because lots of advisory firms are performing these additional services and things for the same amount of fees. So you have to figure out how to do more with the same. You have to grow more with the same. You have to operate better with the same fees, and you have to offer more for the same fees. So how can you do that when you're not necessarily collecting more, but you have to figure out how to stretch those dollars further? We believe fractional is going to fit into that plan very well. And then last but not least, the market turned. The epic bull run of the 10 years, 11 years, 12 years leading up to it, we knew couldn't last forever. But the reality is a lot of advisory firms rested on the market for their growth. AUM was going up year over year in a meaningful capacity. They were able to allow that growth to propel their business forward without having to continue to keep their saw sharp for how they would operate and grow and build their business. That's changed. And so now that you have to do more with the same, and you're not getting the same tailwinds from the market, we have to figure out how to get creative on growing our business, operating our business, and exceeding our goals that we had before. This is where we think Fractional can come in to help in a meaningful way. The model has been proven, but it's time to expand it. The way this model has been proven is that I would say a majority of the folks on this call have probably tested or leveraged outsourced compliance, or potentially outsourced marketing, or potentially outsourced legal, the things that almost everybody outsources. But we believe that it's time for you to start outsourcing anything that isn't within your core competency and really push the envelope on what's possible with the concept of fractional outsourced expertise. We're going to talk what that could look like for your business. How can you apply this concept of fractional to your business? Here's the 6 areas that we believe you should be outsourcing to experts, and potentially a 7th down at the bottom. We believe you should be outsourcing asset management, compliance, technology, marketing, legal, and accounting/bookkeeping. And then down at the bottom with a little asterisk, potentially planning. And I'll talk about that more in a second, but I'm going to walk through each of these systematically. Asset management has historically been an area where people have been extremely hesitant to outsource this. Yet, however, I believe that there's data now that proves that performance-wise, effort-wise, and overall just growth-wise, the firms that outsource their asset management are on par performance-wise with the firms that don't. They're growing faster because there's less overhead and burden on them to be the experts on this. They can trust a team, and there's less need for staff and team in-house on their balance sheet to be able to make this happen. So we've just seen proven that if you outsource asset management, if you outsource the way that portfolios are constructed, and you outsource the rest of the asset management functions and functionalities, you will have more success. You'll be able to do more with the same, like we talked about earlier in the presentation, and your firm will be able to grow no matter what's happening with the market currently. Your organic growth rate will go up if you outsource asset management. We've seen that time and time again. You should absolutely be outsourcing compliance as a firm of most sizes until you get to true scale of the number of advisors that are underneath your purview, where you have more than 40 hours a week worth of work for compliance. We 100% believe that you should be outsourcing compliance to one of the many consulting firms out there that does this. And there's a handful of them that we think are good partners for you. Technology, many of you on this already outsource technology in the sense that you buy a lot of software and you probably spend more on that software than you ever thought you would. But we also believe that you should be outsourcing the strategy of how this technology works, running of the technology, and getting this off of your plate completely. At Milemarker, we refer to this as the accidental CTO. I've never met somebody who runs a wealth management firm who got into this business because they wanted to learn how to be really good at wealth management technology. The technology is supposed to create efficiency for their business and help their business. And in a lot of ways it has. But for every step forward that it has helped people take in their business, it has also created anxiety, frustration, and overhead for them mentally on keeping up with everything that's changing, how to integrate that technology in a meaningful way, and are they getting the most out of that technology? Is it the right technology? Should they be paying attention to all of this new stuff that's coming out? So it's been a double-edged sword, and we believe you shouldn't be focusing on that. You should be able to outsource that, the strategy, the implementation of it, the paying attention of the innovation and what's happening in the industry, and then even down to running of a lot of this technology for wealth management firms. I'm a believer that you should also consider outsourcing the marketing of this. A lot of financial advisors and wealth management leaders that we speak to are great being face-to-face with clients or on a Zoom with clients, and they know how to run an incredible meeting that can turn somebody from a lead or a prospect into a lifelong client. But a majority of wealth management firms, the vast majority, still rely way too heavily on referrals. And referrals are not a good enough source for organic growth in your firm. You need to be marketing in the way that every other business markets, and you should be bringing in more leads month over month for your business to grow. And in order to do that, we believe you should be outsourcing that marketing to partners and teams that can help bring leads in the door that are good fits for you, that fit your ideal client and demographic, and that will help your business grow. This is building content. This is running ads. This is performing media, public relations, all of these things. Your firm should be doing it. You know your firm should be doing it, but you might not be an expert in this area. And there are plenty out there who would love to work with you, and we believe that you should work with them to help grow your business. Legal probably speaks for itself. I can raise my hand and say I am not a great legal authority or mind, and I outsource legal in our business. It's important. It's not something that you should be taking lightly, and you should absolutely have a great legal partner who helps you make sure that you're playing proper defense for your business and growing the way that you want to in the right way. And then bookkeeping and accounting, there's no reason for this to really be in-house for most advisory firms until you get to a certain scale. You absolutely should be outsourcing this. They should be providing expertise for you. They should be providing strategy and growth for your firm. This is kind of a standard proven outsourcing area. But if you're not outsourcing in these 6 areas, we really think you should be. We think you should be taking a serious look at that. And we would be happy to help guide you in a meaningful way to figure out who the partner should be that you should be outsourcing these 6 areas to. At the bottom, I have a note here with a little asterisk of, should we be outsourcing planning? And I know this is a bit of a controversial topic for a lot of people. I believe you should not outsource your face-to-face time with the client and delivering of the plan. That is your job. You are the trusted advisor for these clients. However, I am a big believer in either paraplanners or people who work in the office that exclusively do planning, perform planning, build plans for clients, because the chances are they're probably more on top of the things that are coming out, new regulations, new rules, things that are going to impact and affect your clients' financial plans. Let an expert take care of the planning itself, and you deliver the implications of that plan to your clients and what that means for their future. So 6 areas we believe you should be outsourcing, and a 7th that you should absolutely be considering, thinking about, exploring, and bringing in. Even if you're not a huge firm, paraplanners can be extremely useful. Where does Milemarker fit into the future of this fractional area? We've actually been getting this question a lot from a lot of people, and it's something I'm happy to share with you all today as we look at our series of webinars and content on how fractional is going to change the future of wealth management. So first and foremost, we don't believe you should be a tech expert. Everybody's seen the infamous Michael Kitces map. It has grown tremendously. I wish I had better PowerPoint skills to be able to overlay on top of this where this was even just a couple of years ago to where it is now, and how much it has grown, and it's growing month over month. And we get the question all of the time, how much should we be paying attention to this? How much of this is noise? How much of this can actually help my business? And the reality is, Some of it probably can really help your business. Some of it probably doesn't pertain to your business, but you shouldn't have to worry about staying on top of this all the time. But the deeper thing that I would add in the notion of you not being a tech expert is we find that a lot of firms are hesitant to change pieces of technology, to buy something new, to convert from one piece of technology to another, because of the perceived stress that will come from a massive conversion project. And I understand that. If you're going to move from one portfolio management system to another, that's a huge undertaking that will be distracting to the business, and it's something you don't look forward to doing. If you outsource this to tech experts, they will run those projects for you, and you can be able to stay more on top of the innovation curve because you don't have to fear the projects that come with changing technology. If you outsource to tech experts like Milemarker, we stay on top of what's going on with this map so that you don't have to. We know whether or not you should pay attention to new things coming on here, or we know what the difference is between a lot of the companies in this category. So if you come and say, hey, we're thinking about changing our provider in this category, what should we be looking at? If you have a tech expert like Milemarker, we can tell you quickly, don't pay attention to these three because they're not pertinent to your business, but these ones you should take a look at. And outsourcing that relieves so much stress and anxiety for the clients that work with us on this, because they don't want to have to be tech experts. They want to help clients achieve their dreams and goals. They want to leverage technology, but not have to understand how to use it or how to be great at it. Milemarker does that for you. But beyond that, we speak your language so that it's not just generic tech advice. We don't just have a couple of partners that we refer all the time. We understand your business deeply, and we make recommendations that are specific to your business. Next, you shouldn't have to be a cloud expert. A lot of the technology wealth management firms use runs on the cloud. Your email does, some of your document management solutions, a lot of the other tools. But the reality is everything's changing so fast on this. We are seeing more and more firms who are getting their own relationships with AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, a lot of these tools. Cloud data warehouses are coming into play more and more. And we're seeing firms of all sizes do this, but they're doing it with a partner, because if following the Kitsis map was overwhelming already on which software tools to buy, we know that advisors don't want to be hiring engineers. They certainly don't have full-time work for engineers inside of their firm, and they really don't want to be managing those engineers inside of a firm. And so they're working with Milemarker because they want to get to the cloud, but they feel stuck on how to do it. And they want us to be able to help them do that. So we establish the relationships with the cloud providers for them. We drive the car for them. They hand us the keys. We make sure that the cloud is optimized for them, and that all of their data from those tools that they've purchased is flowing into an area that they can control. So we integrate the data from your portfolio management system, your financial planning system, your CRM, and countless other tools into your cloud data warehouse, and we give you complete control over all of that data in an environment that is yours. You want to run custom queries that you haven't been able to do, you can do that in the cloud. You want to be able to convert to a different piece of software, you can do that much easier when you have all of your data in the cloud. Want to be able to truly run business intelligence? You can do that when all of your data is centralized in a cloud data warehouse and not siloed across every piece of technology that you have. Once you get to the cloud, we can solve your integration problems in a way that you've never been able to do that before. So Milemarker understands all of this. We speak this language so that you don't have to. And you can trust us to help you get to the cloud in a meaningful way. And then lastly on this, you shouldn't have to be a data expert. in a lot of fashion. So every software tool that you buy has analytics. A lot of the software tools you buy have their own business intelligence tools available for you in this. But each of those business intelligence tools are siloed just to the data that's inside that specific tool. So it only gives you one piece of the puzzle. Your team may build reports for you in Excel, but you know the data's stale. You don't trust that data because by the time you get it, it's already old, it's outdated, and it's hard to leverage that to grow your business. And then lastly, as we think about this, most advisors are data-driven. Every decision you make for your client on an investment side or a planning side is based on data. You have market data that you pore over. You look at 10Ks, you look at research reports, you look at all kinds of things to help make decisions for your clients to make the best planning decisions. Yet your business can't do that because you don't have the access to the same level of data in investing in your business as you do for your clients and the way that they're growing. So Milemarker, once we get all of your data to the cloud, we be the data experts for you to implement true business intelligence so that you can be data-driven in your business in the same way that you are data-driven for your clients. Before I move on, the last comment I would make on this broader concept of fractional as a whole is a comment on the war for talent that everybody is experiencing right now. As I mentioned in the concept of the free agent nation, world-class experts now are available for you to work with inside of your firm that you probably never would have had the ability to work with before. But even if you remove the world-class experts, think with me for a second about how difficult it is to find talent for your firm, to find talent for the operations team, to find talent on the planning team, to find talent on the investment team, to find talent in you name it, whichever vertical that you want to think about. When you look at fractional as a potential solution for you, you can win the war of talent because these experts are working across several different clients and you can be one of them, getting access to people who can grow and accelerate your business in a way you've never experienced before. Because the reality is, in most of these areas, data, technology, marketing, the cloud, engineering, compliance, legal, you don't have full-time work required for somebody to come in and do that. You might have 10 hours a week of work for someone like that, 20 hours a week of work, 25 hours a week of work for one of these roles in your business. And you don't want to have to pay executive level salary and benefits for that. You don't want to have to worry about the management, all of those types of things for somebody that you really only have 10, 20 hours a week worth of work for that role. This is one of the areas where you should absolutely be leveraging fractional in a way that I would encourage you to think about that as you walk away from this webinar. If you take one thing away, it would be look at your business, look at the areas of your business where expertise is required, figure out how much time per week is required for that expertise, and see if you can fill that with a fractional role. Because it will save you overall on fully loaded costs for that talent. And I believe that the level of talent will be higher on average if you do it this way. So we're really bullish on the future of wealth management, leveraging experts, world-class talent to come into your business and help you grow it in a meaningful way, because you shouldn't have to be a marketing expert, an accounting expert, an asset management expert, a technology expert, a data expert, a cloud expert, a compliance expert. Too much is being asked of financial advisors in today's climate. You deserve to have it be easier for you, and you deserve to have great talent come in and help you with each and every one of these things. So at Milemarker, what I would ask of all of you is, if you want to figure out how to implement this in your business, I would be happy to offer a free consultation on what this looks like. If you want to figure out the best way to outsource one of the 6 areas of wealth management that you should be leveraging with fractional experts, I'm going to post a link in the chat where you can book time with me for a free consultation on how to leverage fractional in your business. We're coming to the end here of the workshop today, but this is just the first of what's going to be a series of workshops on this concept of how to implement fractional. So like I said, Diana is going to be joining us again on how to grow your business in a fractional way. She's a fractional evangelist or marketer for many firms in the industry. She's going to be joining us in July. Brian Portnoy is going to be joining us in August for fractional outsourced chief behavioral officer, and how every one of you can be applying behavioral finance to your business in a meaningful way without having to have a PhD come on staff full time. I'm really excited about that content. And then we have a couple of requests out where we're just working on who it's going to be finalized, but we're going to do an outsourced asset management webinar in September. And we're going to do a compliance webinar in October about how to take full advantage of this idea of fractional in your business in these areas. And then beyond that, as we get towards the end of the year, we'd also love to round out the other areas that were mentioned for each and every one of you. So please stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining today as we talk to you about why you should be considering fractional for the future of your wealth management business. I'm going to pause here. If there's any questions, I have seen a couple come through that I can answer, but if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat. If not, we will go ahead and give everybody a couple minutes back in their day. So first one coming through here, this is a good one. How can wealth management firms ensure effective communication between like the full-time team and a fractional expert or fractional hire? So what I would say to that is you have to bring these fractional people into your systems. You have to give them access to your business in the same way that you would a full-time person. Treat them like a member of the team. Just realize that they're not going to be there for that full-time expectation. So bring them into your real-time collaboration tools like Slack or Microsoft Teams. Get them an email that has your firm's domain on it. Let it look like they are a part of the team, and bring them into meetings. But then the biggest thing I would add to this is just what are the expectations of communication at your firm, and make sure they have the same expectations delivered to them that you would have for anybody who is a full-time hire as well. So that's a great question. See. Oh, another one came in. Can fractional be a viable long-term solution for wealth management firms, or is it better? That's a good question. Is it better suited for short-term needs? What we've seen is that a lot of people will leverage some of this for a really, really long time, even if it's, they never plan to stop. But what we've also seen for a lot of people is it's a good way to test the water on whether or not this is something you want your firm to truly invest in a deep and meaningful way. So, for example, we've been trying to figure out how to get better at marketing. We know we need to be doing this marketing thing more, but before I go out and hire a full-time team and really invest deep in this marketing side, we want to work with an agency or a fractional chief marketing officer or an evangelist or something to help us get the program going, allow us to test the hypothesis, and then if it's working, we'll really put some chips behind this and invest deeper and further into it. And so we're seeing that happen in a lot of ways. So I think the answer to that for those who asked the question and those who care is, what areas of your business are you looking to experiment with, but you're not quite ready to put massive investment behind. Fractional is a great way to start that. But then there also are other ones where maybe you don't ever want to bring them on full time, and outsourcing it for good is going to help your firm grow and achieve your goals in all the same meaningful way. So thanks for the questions. Looks like that's the only questions we have coming in. So we will give people back a little bit more time in their day. Thank you everybody so much for joining us on the fractional future of wealth management. Have a great rest of your week and take care.